Alright, this is going to be my video on finding the hypotenuse using Pythagorean theorem. So finding the hypotenuse of a right triangle. So the first thing we got to make sure we know is that we know what a right triangle is. So what is a right triangle? It is a triangle that has a 90-degree angle. So if it has a 90-degree angle, it is a right triangle. It could be flipped upside down like this. It could be like that. You even see it like this, but overall when you see the mathematical text, if you see that little box, it means 90 degrees and makes a right triangle. So before we did distance, and right now we're just going to be finding the hypotenuse. So what is a hypotenuse? Hypotenuse is the longest side, and it is always across from the 90-degree angle. So I'm going to fill out these triangles that I already had, and we're going to find all our hypotenuses. So where is my hypotenuse here? Here's my 90-degree angle. What is across from it? It is my hypotenuse. Here's my 90-degree angle. We're going to go across, hypotenuse, across, hypotenuse, across, hypotenuse. And you know, eyeballing it too, it is the longest leg side. What are other sides called? These are legs. As far as finding the hypotenuse goes, the legs are interchangeable. It doesn't really matter what order you use them in, they're just legs. A and B. I'll just leave it like this for now. Legs are the same. They can be changed. Alright, so how are we going to find? So this is how it's similar to distance, because we have those vertical and horizontal components, and we're finding the diagonal component. We've got these sides that our legs are hypotenuses. Hypotenuse is always along a side. It's always across from the 90. Let's get into it. And this is only for right triangles. If you didn't have a right triangle, you would not be able to do that. So if I had a triangle, wow, here's my 90-degree angle. I'm like, okay, it's a right triangle. And they're like, hey, I got to figure this out. And then I had the sides, and they're like, this is 3, this is 11. And hey, what's this side? What's my hypotenuse? So how are we going to do this? We're going to use the Pythagorean theorem. So the Pythagorean theorem is for solving for sides of triangles. But not just triangles, specifically right triangles. So it's going to be a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. Let's clean that up a little bit. So this is going to be used a lot. And how does this work? My a and b are my legs, and my c is always the hypotenuse. So this is the Pythagorean theorem. This is what will be most helpful to you. So what's going to happen is my legs are always a and b, and it doesn't matter which are which. I could put a and b either, but my hypotenuse is always c. So here I'm going to have 3 squared plus 11 squared, and then I'm going to find hypotenuse. So it's like I have that vertical and horizontal component again, and I'm squaring them. 9 plus 121, 130. And then I want to get c by itself. So how do I get rid of a power of 2? Yep. Take a square root. So this is how it is similar to distance also, because we're taking those vertical and horizontal components and then taking the square root of them. You can't simplify root 130 anymore, so my hypotenuse here is just square root of 130. Let's look at a couple more. So I might have like the base of my triangle is 6, and then the height of my triangle is 9, and I've got to figure out what is the diagonal. So this is the same question. We've got a base, and we've got a height, and we want to find that diagonal. So we've got a 90-degree triangle. We've got our base is 6, and our height is 9. We're gonna say meters, because we want to find some real heights. So what are we gonna do? We are gonna take a squared plus b squared and set it equal to c squared. We know that our legs are a and b, So that's going to be a 9 squared plus 6 squared, and right now we don't know c. So for all these questions we don't know c, we're just going to be adding these up. What's the most common error here? Is multiplying by 2, so don't do times 2, do power of 2, do power of 2. So I'm going to add those up. 117 is equal to c squared, and then how do I get rid of that power 2? Take a square root, and I cannot simplify that any further, so I would just stick it with square root 117 meters. And you know, you could plug this into a calculator, it's going to be a little less than 11, that's fine too. But if you can simplify it mathematically, I would do that first. And if you want to say what it is decimaled out, that's fine too. They're all the same answer. Alright, this is my video on taking the hypotenuse of a right triangle.